If you've been a dentist for even one day, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say you will encounter your fair share of toxic employees who just make dentistry unbearable. Like, it's inevitable. Toxic employees come in all forms. Dental assistant who doesn't care about their job, a manager who treats you like a robot and only cares about production, or even a boss who's climbed the ranks by sacrificing literally everything in their life, including their sanity, money, and status. I've been practicing dentistry for almost 3 years now, and I've encountered these toxic employees in just about every single job. Toxic employees are really like parasites. They can infect your entire team. They'll even turn some people against you and start dividing up your office, an office that you work so hard to create a pure team dynamic in. Sometimes it'll literally make you feel like you're living in high school all over again. But these challenges presented to you are about managing your team and protecting your own peace. If you're not careful, these toxic employees can literally ruin your career. They may even force your boss to let you go, or even have you considering quitting your own job. So in this video, I'll talk about what I learned and how to manage toxic employees as a new grad dentist. The first step is to understand who you're dealing with. You know, these types of employees don't just go around announcing themselves to everyone. But if you observe closely, you'll find out that their behaviors stand out pretty obviously. There's a certain pattern that they follow. So I look at behaviors and tendencies that they have in the workplace. Do they show up late? Are they constantly distracted or disinterested? Are they constantly complaining or stirring up drama? That's a huge one. If you see somebody constantly talking shit, talking about other staff members, talking about drama in their own life, their love life, these are red flags to have you identify a toxic work employee. How do these people handle stress when it's presented to them? On the other side, these qualities are shown in positive employees when they present opposite traits, like being responsible at work, showing up on time, taking pride in their work. You know, you may be doing a lot of surgeries at work as a dentist, but sometimes identifying staff and toxic employees is just like surgery, right? You still have to peel the gingiva back to find the abscesses and infections in the bone. Same thing applies here. Even somebody's love life outside the office gives clear indications at times. Are they constantly dating, always stressed, living chaotic lives outside the office? Or are they grounded in stable relationships? And do they prioritize their own health and take care of their own priorities? Understanding who you're working with really helps you in predicting potential problems that may soon arise in your office, sometimes right in front of patients, in the middle of procedures. The next thing to talk about is establishing open communication, because one of my biggest mistakes early on was allowing these toxic behaviors to just bother me for weeks and even months on end without actually addressing them. You see, I'd bottle it away in the back of my head and I would hope that eventually it'll just go away. But I realized that communication is key, but it's actually not something they really teach in school. It took me a long time to actually address it head on, asking the person to speak in a private conversation and just honestly expressing how I feel about them in a professional way. The biggest hurdle for me was to establish like a level of professionalism when talking to somebody about conflict, because I'm from the streets, and in the streets we do things a little differently. But being specific about the behaviors and identifying the problem traits allows them to at least bring awareness to their own insufficiency. And then try to listen to their other side as well, and you might discover that there's other things causing their behaviors, even things that you may be doing as a doctor in the office. I've come to realize that skills in communication can really resolve a lot of issues before they escalate too big. It's a skill you have to develop over time, and while it's not easy, it is essential. Don't forget, you're not just a doctor or a dentist, you become a leader of a team, and you're put in a position to manage other people with their emotions, their own strengths and weaknesses, and allow a team to flourish and produce, so everybody can go home and provide for their families. Now, it's really important to create an environment that is solution-oriented, right? Toxic employees love the whole negativity, they love being surrounded by drama, but if you let them constantly complain, constantly blame other people all around your office, it creates a bad office culture. And I saw this a lot in the corporate dentistry job that I had in Aspen. Instead, my boss at the time was telling me to focus on solution-oriented conversations. Like, okay, toxic employees love to complain, but the moment you shift the focus to solutions, it changes the conversation and forces them to contribute positively. It sets the tone in the dynamic of the relationship. For example, when I was in my corporate job at Aspen, I had one of my dental assistants constantly complain about working too much. I mean, it's 9 to 5, right? So everybody's working the same amount of hours, but she just constantly felt stressed about the whole environment. Once I noticed that behavior, I just asked her, like, what's up? Is something going wrong? Can I help you in any way? And eventually, I learned the hard way because it destroyed the office culture. She started talking behind my back, and it gets out of hand. And if you haven't encountered a situation like this, they're everywhere in the dental workplace. But I learned in that situation that it's important to address these things head on and present a solution as quick as possible before it simmers and grows any bigger. Now, anybody that has an issue, I ask them to provide a solution. And if you can provide a solution, it's something that I'm willing to entertain because I need to make sure that the team is successful and collaborative at all times. Because if you are open to resolving any issue that an employee may have, it allows them to feel empowered and it brings the team closer together the moment that they realize you are on their team and you guys are not against each other fighting every day. And as a leader, you simply have to be unshakable when it comes to your emotion. Trust me, those toxic employees will test your patience, and you have to find the solution as fast as possible. Now, sometimes the toxicity in these employees aren't really intentional, because in my current job, what I'm seeing is that some people aren't fit for the exact role that they've been put into. Many times I realize that if an employee is underperforming or really dissatisfied with their job, they may be better at a different job, but nobody suggests that. For example, in my current job, I have 2 employees. I have a dental assistant and a sterilization girl that we're talking about in this situation. Now, they're both dentists in the different countries, but the assistant somehow is just like a really, really difficult assistant to work with. And it's unbearable at times. It also makes you question if she really was a dentist in her own country, but it's unbearable. And the girl in sterilization, also a dentist in a different country, in Cuba, is amazing. She's attentive, she's quick on her feet, she thinks critically, she's able to identify the next thing that needs to be done or the next tool that I need. But she's in sterilization, so I never see her. When I changed the 2 people's roles, they both were happier because the assistant who was struggling constantly felt scrutinized and under pressure because she kept giving me the wrong tools. The patients were unhappy, I was unhappy. It was a bad situation for everybody. And the girl in sterilization felt like that she was being undervalued. Once she got out with the patients and in the surgeries, she felt much better and more comfortable. And so did I, because I had a better assistant to help me at that current job. And this can be easily identified by having like a custom fit check with everybody. I like to schedule one-on-one meetings every few months with every one of my employees just to ask what they want from me, what I would like out of them, or in any way what we can do to make the office a more positive environment that's more fun and more collaborative amongst all of us that are working together. We work 12-hour days, mainly 5 or 6 days a week. So we pretty much are family, and obviously families fight with each other. And you'll see in my latest vlog that I had to hold a team meeting about this because it just got out of hand. One toxic employee now spreads word about me and another employee. Somebody's getting paid too much. This person's leaving early. In my last vlog, I showed that we had to have a meeting about this and settle everything. And I made it clear, toxicity isn't always just one-sided. Sometimes it's something I'm doing wrong that I don't even realize. I'm caught up in such a busy schedule, I'm not even realizing the way I may be treating my front desk staff, or if I'm being a little rude to my assistant when I'm juggling multiple patients at the same time. So I think taking a lot of accountability allows us to create a work environment where everybody feels safe, respected, and actually excited to come to work every day. I have definitely realized in my short time in dentistry, when you have a positive office culture, people perform better. Patients notice the difference, and the work just comes out to be much more rewarding. And on a real note, this stuff really isn't that easy as a new grad dentist. I'm still learning how to do all this stuff every single day, but I hope in sharing these insights along the way, it helps you feel less alone in the own struggles that you may be dealing with your own employees and your own team. And hey, if you've made it this far in the video, let me know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below if this was helpful at all. Please help your favorite doctor out, subscribe, share, and like this video if you can. I'll see y'all in the next one. Dr. Rana signing off.